Welcome to the weekly from the Blue Room with me, Les, this week. Warren's absent for this one, so you got me, I'm afraid. And I'm happy to say, though, I'm joined by Ed, who's going to carry me like Illiman Diai carries the Everton squad through this episode of the weekly. I'm sure we may get some more people joining us as we go on. We don't know. It's a bit of a lucky dip this week. It's all quite last minute, but we like it that way. Ed, how are you getting on?
I'm good, thank you, Les. Having a good week. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of talking about the Man City game. I'm sick of talking about centre forwards. I'm sick of talking about fullbacks, though we will come on to a fullback before the end. So I thought for this week we would launch into. I did a show yesterday with Rog, Gav, and Sarah from Mint, and we're talking about the culture at Everton, how it's changed, sort of moving into the new ground, how it's probably going to change moving forward into the future. So it's also got me thinking about everyone's match day experience, because we all said, didn't we, when we leave Goodison, it will be a big change for everyone. The whole match day build up, the post match, everything will change. So I just want to get everyone's thoughts really on what the match day experience has been like going to the new ground compared to Goodison. I think the main standout for me is every game feels like an event at the minute. So it doesn't. So with the familiarity of Goodison, it was just like, just go in the game, and it become a bit of a chore, especially, if you got some of those games like West Ham at home on a Monday night would have been a real, oh God, can't be bothered with this. There was a bit of that, but it still felt like an event, and that's been the biggest difference for me. Just want to know, what's your sort of how's your match day routine changed, and like what you think of the new ground? How do you think it's changed your sort of perception of the club, maybe?
I mean, there's so much to talk about there, I think. In terms of getting to the game initially, I've got a lot more variety than I used to. I still do tend to go via the Denby Castle, but I live in, as you know, the magical land of the Dingle. And it's exactly 1 hour walking from my front door to Ildico. So sometimes I've done the train into town and then walked in. Sometimes I've just walked the whole way. It's been lovely. I had a really great time before the Villa game. Just strolled there, and it was really nice. But your point around the event aspect of it is well made. I think a huge difference between the new ground and Goodison is, as much as I loved and will always love Goodison, I really couldn't wait to leave once the game was over. There wasn't anything to go to, was there? You get out, you go back into town as soon as possible. But with Hill Dickinson is you kind of want to be there a bit more time before the game. You want to be there for a bit more time after the game. I've enjoyed the South Stand long bar, but it's something that I'm still getting used to. I think everyone's getting used to it as well, and that's made a bit of a difference as well. Is there's a pretty heady mix of people who are entirely new and are discovering the ground and treating it like almost like a tourist attraction, and others who, like us, have been for a few games now, but are still getting to grips with how it feels, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When people say to me, "Oh, how does it feel? Does it feel like home yet?" The best answer I can give them is, it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting there. In terms of atmosphere, it's something I'd mull on quite a lot during the games. The Villa game in particular, when I was sitting there and thinking, in terms of the atmosphere right now, does it feel like Goodison? And it kind of does, really. Goodison the last few years, the atmosphere did sort of drop off a little bit, and I think we were all a little bit tired of the quality we were experiencing, so that played a part in it. But apart from the fact that for me it's a little bit fragmented in the ground in terms of different groups trying to make an atmosphere at different times, especially in the South Stand, which is its own little ecosystem. It feels kind of similar. It's not as different to Goodison as I thought it would be, just in terms of the game atmosphere. But I think that late Palace winner showed us its potential for pretty widespread heavy limbs.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Just before that, so it was like before that game, I think it was West Ham before that, wasn't it? And I think that was the most Goodison like the new ground's been, because it got that sort of the atmosphere. Everyone was grumbling a bit, and then just leading up to the Palace game, there was a lot of people saying, well, it's because we're not sat by the people we used to sit next to. We're not in with the same crowd we'd start to singing. So it didn't feel like it could be that organic, because everyone's kind of getting to know each other next to them and stuff like that. But I think at that Palace game, it was like yeah, we probably just need the team to be all right and give us moments, and the atmosphere will pick itself up, and the ground will explode like it did. And I had, just on the south stand as well, I had this big romantic view of that long bar at the south stand where we'd all just saunter down and be, "Hi Keith, all right, Ed," and we'd all just go and have a drink. When you get down there, you can't see anyone because it's that packed. But it is great, but it's just chock, and it's really hard to find anyone.
It's not, isn't it? I was sitting with my dad for the Brighton game, for the first game, and I managed to lose him. We went down at half time to get a pint and enjoy the long bar. And I said to my dad, "This is absolutely chocker. I'll get the pints, you stay here." So I went, got them both, couldn't get back, went all the way along, back up and down the window, finally got back to where he was meant to be, wasn't there. So I'm looking around for him. And I run into Matt Jones, and he says, "Good to see you. It's great, this, isn't it?" Etc. You know, the second half starting now. So I'm there with 2 full pints of San Miguel going, hold on, what do I do here? So I did the thing which you absolutely shouldn't do. And this is a public safety announcement. Do not down 2 pints of San Miguel in 2 minutes and then go up 25 flights of stairs. Don't do it. It's an awful thing to do. I got back to my dad absolutely wheezing. And he was just sat in the seat. I said, "What happened?" And he looked at me and went, "Oh, it looked a bit busy, so just came back."
There you go.
Honestly.
I like that you did that, though, Ed, so other people didn't have to. That was very, very altruistic of you.
It's very important with these new grounds. Someone's got to test for these things, you know. So exactly. I feel like the club can have some sort of certificate now to say that someone's done the San Miguel and 25 flights of stairs challenge.
You were the 4th test event, basically. That's what that was. Yeah, just that, and basically underneath in the south stand by the bar, it is like a Las Vegas casino. There is no sense of time or place. It's just there. You're existing there, and then you realise 10 minutes ago in the second half. John has joined us. John was just talking about the differences in match day experience between Goodison and the new ground. Now we've had a few games to sort of settle in a bit more in the new ground. How's your match day changed? And how do you feel about the new ground in comparison to what Goodison was like?
Just to step in while there are some technical issues. My opinion on the ground itself is I'm still blown away by it. I still really am blown away by it. I feel like that might feel a little bit hammy, but I love just walking past it and going past it on the train because I travel from South Liverpool up to Bootle, you know, almost every day for work, and so I go see it on the way into Sandhills, and it's still great to see. The other night, my wife and I went for a nice long walk, and we ended up at the stadium. I just stared at it. It looks absolutely beautiful and nice. And as much as the current situation with no Europe means that night games are generally rubbish because they're either Mondays, which are not good, Fridays, which are not good, or do the late Saturdays or late Sundays now, like 8 o'clock kickoffs.
Yeah,
absolute, as the new Forest manager would say, utter woke nonsense. So they're really bad right now. But when we're in a position to have proper night under the lights games, and we've had a couple examples already, but when we get a big team under the lights, that's when we'll see it. That's when we'll see what it's capable of. And I've always been of the opinion that we won't recreate Goodison as it was. We shouldn't because it's Goodison, but we can, over time, get that atmosphere back, get that feeling back, and make it something else. Because obviously the South Stand in particular, but all of them are geared towards making a good atmosphere. It will come in time, but we will, I think, at some point be really proud of what we're able to create there in terms of noise.
Yeah. Well, it is, isn't it? It's not about replicating what Goodison was, like you say. It's, we've got to move on and sort of make this a new thing. I think, so I missed the Mansfield game. I was in London. I was working. So I missed that sort of first taste of a summery kind of evening game. So I'm looking forward to maybe one of them. Maybe we get a nice cup run in the FA Cup and we get a couple of midweekers towards the end of April and into May. That'd be a nice thing, wouldn't it? John, have we got you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we've got you. There you go. So just to me question, we're just talking about how you're feeling about the new ground in comparison to Goodison and how maybe your match day might have changed, your match day routine, or where are you at with it all?
I'm okay with it. Pretty much my routine doesn't change because I don't really drink. I went to the pub the other week and met both of yous after the Palace game, but that's not going to be a regular occurrence. You'll be glad to know. It's basically the same. To me mum's, home, and then that's it. But
what do you think? What about in the ground?
I just go to my seat. I'm a miserable get. You know that. I try to have a toffee donut and end up looking like one of the Joker's goons from The Dark Knight for most of the game. But but in all seriousness, I got my little routine now where I go and grab a pie from the Blue House, and then we go and have a little walk around the grounds and then see what's going on and then just go in. But I like it. I think it's a bit more. I'm not really one for all that. I think it's a bit more of Americanization of the sport again. You know that. We're almost getting to the tailgate things in America, which I'm not wholly against, by the way. But you know, it's horses for courses, and there'll be at some point where we're going to have to upgrade that experience for other fans, because at the moment it's still a bit high, isn't it? Ted Bovis kind of entertainment levels. You know, here we got our Daphne and Celeste tribute act kind of thing.
Maybe that's what we need. Like, remember when Arsenal had the Shaman on at half time?
Yeah.
Like in the very early Premier League years. Let's get some of that shit going on half time.
But we normally say, come on, Everton, these are shy. Not come on, Everton, these are good. So,
yeah, I mean, when I was talking to Roger Shearer and Gav, there was a lot of talk around that Americanization of it. And, you know, we've got American owners. Will it sort of go in that sort of very, not franchise-like direction, but basically you want people to come and spend loads of money in the club shop, which every club has always wanted that. And now Everton have kind of got a vehicle for that, because at the minute it is still quite captive once you're there, isn't it? Obviously, there are quite a few bars up and down Regent Road, but once you're sort of in that little sort of fan zone and that, it is quite captive. Do you think that would, Ed, we'll come back to you on this, how much do you reckon this could change the sort of, not the atmosphere maybe, at the game, but sort of the atmosphere around the club? Because we've seen it at Liverpool now. We've seen how that's evolved, and we'll never have the pulling power that they've got. Just got to accept that, really. We'll never pull in the tourist fans like they do. Hence, we've got a much lower capacity ground, which I think was the right capacity, to be honest. But do you think that will markedly change the sort of people who come to the club and maybe impact the atmosphere? Bit of a difficult one to answer because it's quite impossible to say. But what are your thoughts on that? Like, what can you see happening there?
I don't think it's necessarily the changes will bring about that sort of change in attendees. It's more like the tail wagging the dog. I think we're way behind, actually, in Premier League terms of attracting that sort of visitor. Not that I necessarily think that's a great thing, but what the club's actually realising now is that these are the people that come into Premier League games for the most part. The average working class fans being priced out, which, again, that's not a comment on whether it's good or not. It's obviously terrible. But the club are only just starting to adapt to that. I think that's why we have some of the Americanized thing. Not necessarily because the owners are Americanized, because the game is, especially the Premier League, it just is. That's how it seems to be everywhere now. And it, you know, it's obviously it's a real shame. Because you don't want to see people getting priced out of the experience, and you do want to maintain the sort of the everyday nature of it, if that makes sense. You know, of going the game. It's something, you know, we're all lucky to get to do week in, week out. And as much as I want everyone to experience it, you don't want everyone turning up just to be happy to be there, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's potentially what could come about, and that's maybe a bit worrying. But there's still a really great number of season ticket holders, so hopefully we've still got people who like John, who just want to get into that seat and start smelling.
Well, that's it. I think, John, I think we have got like a really high percentage of season ticket holders compared to the capacity. I think we've got about maybe. I don't know. I'm not even going to throw numbers in, but apparently I think ours is quite a high percentage. Can you see a time where that's whittled down? Because we've already seen clubs like United and Newcastle pulling rank on season ticket holders who don't go. Now the club have sort of got us by the balls of it with this digital ticket that you can't just pass it on and it looks like you've gone. Do you reckon that's a long-term strategy for every club?
Yeah, I think if the thing is, it all depends. If we stay unsuccessful, then we will have dwindling crowds eventually, but they will be dwindling crowds of hardcore fans.
Yeah.
If we get success, the hardcore fans will be priced out, and we will get the new tourist fans in, and the club will be looking to expand the stadium. I know they can't because of alleged restrictions, but money talks, doesn't it? So they will find a way to ensure that this happens. So eventually it all depends on how we do on the pitch. If we do well on the pitch, in 15 years' time, I think the demographic of our fans is going to change hugely. Not necessarily for the better.
Yeah.
Because as much as we all say we want Liverpool's success, I don't want Liverpool or City's level of success. I'd hate that. So that I like the fact that, don't get me wrong, I'd want us to win the league and I want us to win every trophy, but we've got to be realistic and imagine becoming as entitled as some of those fans are.
Yeah,
of those clubs. I don't want the fan base to change. I'd rather have success every few years. The trophies mean more, and we don't become arrogant, entitled, spoiled children.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because obviously you want your team to be the best team in Europe, the best team in the land, but there seems to be a lot more trappings that come with that now. A lot more expectations that you will pick up a lot of tourist fans and things like that. Basically, what I'm saying is what we need is at like 92, 93 season, 93, 94, when it was about 15,000 in Goodison. And that was it. It was great then. I loved it.
Yeah. When you could hear each individual boo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's right though, isn't it? We are sort of like caught there, whether if we do get the success, then that brings all those trimmings with it of the day tripping fans and like the club putting the prices up.
I've seen fans in Liverpool shirts at Bramley Moor.
Yeah, well, my cousin
I don't get it.
Shop, and he said there's always loads of cop-outs going into the club shop.
Yeah.
And I would not go anywhere near Anfield unless Everton were playing there. Just like,
and even then, it'd be reluctantly.
Even then, can't be bothered.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just because I don't like I don't like the stadium. I don't like the policing method there and the stewarding there as
never
well.
easy to get in, is it?
No.
It's very heavy-handed.
So I've stopped going there now.
Yeah. No, I've had 3 unhappy experiences there, and that'll definitely do.
Yeah, last time I went there was 2007 when we nearly had the ultimate Tony Hibbert derby winner. Remember when a shot only went about 30 or 40 yards wide? So
the last time I was there was Ancelotti v the kids.
That's enough to turn anyone away.
Horrific, absolutely terrible scenes. Right, should we move on to some football then? Speaking of which, because it's Spurs at the weekend, and I think we're in that weird situation, aren't we, that you get at this time of the year where the table, we've had the 2 international breaks, the table seems to be settling down a little bit. You've got your clubs at the bottom, clubs in the middle, clubs at the top. Spurs are still among those clubs at the top, they're on 14, 5 points behind Arsenal on top, 2 points behind City in second. We're now 3 points behind them. This game, it's not a must win. It's not really a pivotal game, but it's one of those where you look at it and think, okay, if we do win, we can push on and look up then. If we don't, we probably start looking down at the table, at least until January or whatever. That's probably going to be our place where we're looking down. What do you reckon, Ed? Do you think this will sort of, this got the potential to shape the perception of where our season's going?
Definitely it can definitely shape the perception. I don't think it has any real impact on how the season's actually going to go. But I suppose we're kind of at that stage now where we don't really know where this team's going to end up. And I think our current position is kind of reflective of that. I wouldn't say necessarily that we've got going yet. I wouldn't name too many performances where it's looked like, we've really clicked. But I would say in most performances, including Sunday, we've shown we have the trappings of a very good team. It's there. It's just it hasn't really worked yet for whatever reason. And we're against a Spurs side who are in the sort of opposite situation. When it started really well, they looked great. And they're brilliant at the Etihad. And since then, they've had 1 clean sheet in their last 6 games, and that's against Doncaster, which naturally doesn't count, although we couldn't do it. And so they're in a weird situation as well, where they're not sure where they're going to go up or down. So it's a significant one for both teams in that sense. I'm trying not to pin too much to it the weekend, but given that we've had a sort of we haven't had the worst that we've had Liverpool and City away. Obviously, two of the toughest games you can have, but apart from that, it's been relatively mild. So as we go into a sort of more hectic schedule with all sorts of opponents, these are the games where you really hope they're thinking, yeah, this is our big opportunity to show what we're made of. And that's what I'd like to see at the weekend. I'd like to see a lot of motivated players, especially because some of them have been brought into question.
Yeah. I think on that, John, it's one of those. How's Moyes going to set up for this one? So if this was
pragmatically,
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's it. One word answer that'll do. No, but isn't it? It's like if it was Spurs away, we know exactly what would happen. He would approach it like he did the derby, maybe to a lesser degree how we did City, because I think if we'd approached derby the way we did City, we'd have got more out the game because we were great for 60 minutes against City. But what do you think? Do you think he'll sort of just go with exactly the same things he's been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to change too much. He's going to go with Beto up front or Barry, depends on what mood he's in on Friday night, because he can't seem to decide between them two. Grealish is back. Alcaraz didn't do enough on Saturday to really keep that argument for him to retain his place, so he'll go back. Grealish on the left, replacing him. He'll keep it as we expect. One thing we might see, though, little thing to throw Spurs off, he might put Garner right back and play Merlin Roll in the centre of midfield and move, because I think we're starting to see now Keane and Tarkowski are starting to turn into the Chuckle brothers. Keane's like, he seems to absorb everyone else's ability, doesn't he? He plays well when everyone else and everyone else plays badly. Then when everyone else plays well, he plays badly. So I think it's time to, obviously the news about Brantwaite this week was disheartening. So I think we've got to give Jake O'Brien a chance now, because that's 2 or 3 games now where he's looked all at sea at right back.
Yeah.
And I think we need to keep that shape.
No,
he won't, but I'm saying that's what he should do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because have you Spurs got at left wing at the moment?
Probably Odebear.
Odebear's not a bad player, but he's not top class Premier League player, is he? I was really shocked. I was really shocked he spent so much on him from Burnley. Yeah. I don't think he's a bad player, but I was shocked that he spent that much. Spurs are a bit like us at the moment. They're a team in transition. They're kind of halfway still between that Postecoglou defensive cock-ups and a bit more that, balanced style of Thomas Franks. But they're still there. They're there for the taking. They're not a great side. You saw them last week against, what's it called? Villa. And Villa is, I thought, while Villa have obviously looked better, they've won 5 on the bounce, they still look a little bit fragile, Villa. And Spurs just couldn't find that killer punch. And I think that defence, everyone goes on about it, but I don't see what that Van de Ven really offers, apart from a pulled hamstring every 6 weeks. He's a bit like, he's like Brantwaite, but without the ability. So he can be got at. Unfortunately, our strikers aren't the type to get at them. But luckily, we've got 2 wingers there who can absolutely tear their fullbacks to shreds. Jed Spence, although he's had an England cap, you'd only have to have 2 legs and be playing football at the moment to get a cap for England, the fullback, because the fullback situation's dire, isn't it? It's that dire that he might bring Eric back. But
yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? It's like we probably have got like the players there to hurt Tottenham. Likewise, they probably have got players to hurt us as well. But a lot of this comes back on now. I know I said I didn't want to talk about strikers and fullbacks, but I'm going to anyway. It kind of comes back to how Moyes trusts and uses his squad, because I'd argue so far this season he's used his first 11 quite well, but he's not really used his squad to its full capabilities, and it feels like he's going to have to start doing that sooner or later, doesn't he? Because it stuck out like a sore thumb on City. Ilman and Dye and the team were great for an hour. But then when he'd run himself into the ground because he was trying to cover fullback and the wing positions, it sort of it nulled his capabilities, and then the team kind of just stopped creating and sat back, and it was just like we were never getting anything out of that game. And so he's got the options there to change it, but he feels loath to use them, doesn't he? And it's kind of classic Moyes, and it makes you wonder, should we have bought these development players? Are we in a position to develop these players? Or, do you think, like, just say with Diblin, should he just be using him now more?
Yeah, he absolutely should. I think we discussed this before. Moyes doesn't trust his entire squad, and it's making life very hard for us. Not least because he said, they get tired naturally. but it also makes us very predictable. And we've got a group of players, our most creative players, Grealish and Jai, and you can throw Dibbling in there, and you can throw, I suppose, Dewsbury Hall in there once he's back in form. They all play in quite a similar way. Close control, keeping the ball tight, cutting inside. They can beat players, but you have an idea of what they're going to do, and you can sort of mitigate for it. We don't have that much variety. And as much as it is a step down when you bring on sort of Alcaraz and McNeil in particular, they do offer something different. That it's a different idea. Maybe it's more aggressive pressing, maybe it's more set pieces, or the like. And the kind of the problem we've got at the moment is we've got the sort of the midfield, which looks a lot better, and there's so much more talent and quality there now. But it exposes the striker, and we don't have strikers who are good enough to carry the can as a sole striker, and it's really exposing them. They've obviously, neither of them have played well enough anyway of the season, but it's really exposing those limitations of theirs. Whereas the good part about the back end of last season was we identified Beto's strength, for example, was the run in behind. So what do? Put them in behind. Simple, very, very simple. And he was able to feed off that and score some goals. And now we're asking him to do something he just can't do. And with Barry, I don't know. We haven't seen enough of him to know exactly what his strengths are yet. But we're certainly not playing to them. I think we saw the other day he's had 4 shots or something like that, just in total across his career to date, which is
Sean Dyche likes this.
I mean, to be fair, he probably has only had about 20 minutes on the pitch, hasn't he? So
yeah, exactly. It's not really enough. So Spurs, the thing I like about Thomas Frank is that he is so adaptable. He does mix things up. Is that Brentford team of his? Sometimes they play some sort of tippy-tappy football, and sometimes they just hoof it. If they recognise that the team didn't like opponents that hoofed it, they would just hoof it. And that's completely reasonable. You play the game that's going to win you the points.
That's what they done to Liverpool when they beat them 3-0, didn't they? They noticed that their defenders don't like running back.
Yeah, exactly.
They played the ball over the top. And
when they battered Man United as well, they went, you know what? They're really susceptible if you just put the ball down the middle and run onto it. And they did that. And I think that's a really good thing. So it makes Spurs a little harder to deal with. But we got an idea for it when we played them in February. Different lineup, I suppose, but we were really aggressive. We were really, really aggressive with them, and they did not like it one bit. I still think that would work. So I do want to see that, pushing them hard, competing strongly in the air, and saying to Beto, getting him angry, getting Beto angry. Sometimes he comes on like he's fuming with the world and he's throwing himself about, and it's great because defenders are actually preoccupied by him.
So he did that against Palace, didn't he? He was playing the first half on a sun lounger, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Taking his cocktail, and then Beto came on and threw him around a little bit and roughed him up.
Yeah.
So
that's what we need.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to just get in his ear and say that they've been slagging off KFC or something, getting really angry. And
they reckon Nando's is better.
Exactly.
Bargain bucket shite, lad. That's what they really have to say that to them on the way out. That's subtle. Just on the flip side, then, John, Thomas Frank, adaptable manager, he's clearly going to target our right, isn't he?
Yeah, and so he should.
Yeah.
But if we counteract that by playing somebody who's mobile and not put, I like Jake O'Brien. He's going to be a really good centre half, but at times he looks like that bloody big statue from Jason and the Argonauts, doesn't he? When he's moving. Yeah. Well, no, it's Talos.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, bit of nerd there.
No, I thought it was Achilles. Don't he do his ankle?
Yeah, but no, it's Talos.
Yeah. That's why I got confused
with the ankle Talos bone type. Yeah, same thing though.
There are occasions where he looks like he's in stop motion.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I mean. Yeah, he's just.
So the worrying thing for me is he stopped winning headers and stuff recently as well from fullback, which is like
he got out jumped by Somerville, didn't he, at West Ham?
Yeah. One thing you can do is win a header, lad. So yeah. It is gonna be interesting how we approach this one. Like you said, the changes are there to be made, but Moyes probably won't make them. I will be dead surprised if he doesn't start with the same team. but with Grealish.
Like, if he does go with O'Brien, utilise him. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, we need to make the most of what's out there, because we did have this tactic which worked fairly well, and it's really basic, really. But we're getting O'Brien a bit more advanced, and then playing long balls to him because he can actually win them and flick them on, and get other players involved. Do that. Why not?
And while we're vulnerable on the flanks, so are Spurs.
Exactly. Yeah. If you've got a big lanky streaky piss at right back, then use him for that exact purpose.
Yeah.
Could be another 5-4 this then, basically, couldn't it? Which I'm still not convinced that game happened, but yeah.
That was AI.
Yeah, that was made up.
Yeah, that was the first AI football match.
Yeah, definitely.
That entire thing was confected just so we could have the gif of Ancelotti blowing on his tea.
That's what it was, wasn't it? The whole thing was just.
Which we've since found out he wasn't being cool. He was just actually suffering from hypothermia. So, well, he was being very cool.
And when it comes to cups of tea at Goodison, no one will beat Sliced Alone, of course. And there's a couple, whatever the fuck he was drinking there.
Warm brown liquid.
He did not like.
So you've got your warm brown liquid, which is savoury, which is your Bovril.
Yeah.
Your warm brown liquid, which is sweet, which is your tea. And your warm brown liquid, which is bitter, and that's your coffee. And they're just the same drink, just with different little slight additives.
Just, warm brown slop at Goodison.
Yeah.
Is it any better than New Ground? I've only had a beer.
I haven't had tea yet.
No. Is the coffee or anything better?
Don't know. I don't drink hot drinks. You're asking the wrong person.
I'm asking the wrong person here then.
Yeah. I mean, I've got that.
Take your own pot noodles to the ground.
Yeah. Can't grab pot noodles a drink.
Don't pay those.
That sounds like a challenge to me.
Tell you what though, you're in the danger zone once you go above that fill line. Honestly,
you
don't know what could happen there.
Yeah, it's like Piper Alpha, isn't it?
We'll finish on a bit of nostalgia, John, because I know you love all that.
Dude,
16 years of Seamus Coleman. He's been, to coin a terrible phrase, a great servant to the club. Being cynical, I'm not quite sure why he got a new deal, because he was never really going to play for us this season. But I understand he does a lot behind the scenes. He's a great fella, and he could. It's funny that no one really speaks about him as an option at right back, because no one feels he's gonna play like a top flight game really. I don't know about you. Does he even cross your mind when you're thinking about the full back positions?
No. Sometimes I think of him like a recently deceased pet or something. Look at your right back position and go, "Oh, Seamus would have been there." It's like you're looking at where your dog used to be, and that's kind of what I look at him like.
It does kind of feel like that. I think it was like brought into focus in the Southampton game, wasn't it? Where he went off after 15 minutes, and that was like it. Right, I'm done.
I genuinely thought that was like a little thing that he's agreed. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's nice, and it's a bit condescending. But Southampton are relegated; they're not gonna. If they spoke about it before, but no, he was genuinely injured.
Yeah,
and I thought, well, okay, so and then he come back.
Yeah,
honestly, he's like the Terminator.
He started against Mansfield, and I was like, that video of Ian Wright when he sees his old teacher.
Inexplicably started left back.
Yeah. That was. I upset the Irish blue Irish fans with that, because I happened to mention that when that rebound when Tingio Munetzi knocked in there first, and Coleman's in the corner picking daisies or whatever it was. I happened to mention that I thought he was out of position, or I got quite a bit of abuse for that.
Yeah. We'll pick up the tempo then now, because we might get a bit of abuse, because that was quite negative about Coleman there, and I apologise.
But in summing up his entire career, he's won nothing. He's been Everton captain during one of our worst periods. So but no, I'm joking, obviously. But he has been a great servant, but he's been paid very well for it. So it's not like he's.
Yeah, I never like the servant tag. It's like
a great employee.
Yeah,
a great employee of the month, 3 years on the road.
Yeah. No, but he's in all seriousness. I mean, it's hard not to like Coleman. He carries himself in such a way with such dignity, and no one's got a bad word to say about him. And he's been a great ambassador for the club. Not as didn't play as much as we'd like to because of injuries. Not often, not his fault, but I don't think in all seriousness you can't really say anything too bad about him.
No, No, not at all.
I'd like to, but
it does. It does like the way Moyes used him and Baines. No, sorry, it was Martinez, wasn't it? Oh yeah, no, Moyes. Yeah,
it was Moyes, yeah.
Yeah,
because Martinez, they both down tools, allegedly.
Yeah, the way Moyes used him and Baines like so effectively, it does make it all the more surprising that Moyes hasn't been like steadfast in saying, "I want a new left back and I want a new right back because I want them to be able to do this." But just to finish, we'll pick up on some of your favourite Seamus Coleman memories. Ed, do you want to go in with yours?
So many great ones. The brilliant thing about Seamus is he's the most earnest person in the world, isn't he? Everything he does it intensely into the maximum of his ability. To paraphrase the great sage Homer Simpson, he uses his whole arse. He's never half-arsed. And that's exactly the same when he's fuming. I remember there was a little period of time when we were, I can't remember what it was. It was back in 2018. We were getting on his back a bit, on the team's back a bit, which should come as no surprise to him. But it was not, the atmosphere wasn't fantastic at that point, and we played unreliably informed Brighton at home, and he scored, he drilled one in, and then went on to do what I can only describe as the most aggressive ear cupping celebration I've ever seen. I've never seen ear cupping weaponized to that extent. He looked like he had fleas. He was like
a dog,
really going at his ears, like doing the whole thing. Normally, it's meant to be the sort of nonchalant, "Oh yeah, can't hear you now" sort of thing, but he couldn't help but take it to the next level. I thought it was just brilliant, and it's great to know that he's so much like us. He's constantly just fuming at things he's seen.
I've never seen anyone so angry like that when they score.
Yeah,
because it's like Peter Mack said his knee slide the Swansea way when he scored, and then did it to Murray Ketspire and started volleying the advertising board. He just went insane, didn't he, when he scored? It was but with anger, not with joy, which I just find that's quite intense.
I've already said, man, when he down tools, when he was among the players who down tools and got Martinez sacked. No, I'm joking. In all seriousness, I have made it sound like I don't like Coleman, and I do. I genuinely like Seamus Coleman, and I think one of my favourite things of him is just the way he carries himself. He comports himself with a bit of class, bit of dignity. He's obviously well respected. You never hear anyone having a bad word to say about him.
Yeah.
So there's obviously something there that shows that he's a man of real integrity. But also, the other thing is he's one of those people. I don't know if either of you ever seen him in real life, like close up, I mean.
No.
So he's got a really gormless football face. But when I saw him up close once, I was astounded by how attractive a man he actually is.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that one. He's a secret hottie.
That knee slide, by the way, Keith was going to use that as well. So I'll have to mention the fact that Keith said that as well. Secret hottie, though. I like that.
Yeah.
He'll be made up with that, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's all the other stuff we said anyway.
Yeah.
The Cardiff goal.
Oh, the Cardiff goal. I mean,
that's our greatest Premier League goal.
The true highlight of that 2013-14 Martinez season, where we were absolutely gasping against Cardiff, weren't we? And they I think they equalised about 15 minutes to go, if I remember rightly, something like that. And we thought, oh God, we've messed it here. And then he scored the single greatest last-minute winner in the history of football, where he absolutely fluffed a volley or a half volley.
Holy shit!
and his shank drifted. It's one of those goals where if you watch it, you go, "Why are they showing the slow motion replay?" And you go, "Oh, hang on, no, this is real time."
Well, it's actually faster in slow motion.
Yeah,
it defies the laws of physics in slow motion. It's twice the speed.
That Cardiff keeper had been like Sebastian Frey all day as well. There,
yeah, David Bloody Marshall. He had another one against us for Hull a few years later.
Yeah. He had a fantastic day. The only thing that could have beaten him was that exact goal. And the fact that Coleman did not hesitate to go screaming off in celebration as well.
Yeah.
Not a single note of embarrassment to him. Again, just the most earnest fella in the world. That was a last-minute goal. Ball had gone into net. Done.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And also, it was two fingers up to the most archetypal Bond villain in Vincent Tan, wasn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
You know.
Dargan said marching over and giving what for to that wanker Anthony Knockout for Brighton, who got sent off for 2 foot and bones. Who was the one who was stood over when they were injured or they were feigning injury and giving them loads? I can't remember who that was.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
picture of him just stood over pointing in someone's
Richarlison.
face. Was it?
Probably. He's the only one I can think when you think of feigning injury. He's the one that springs to mind.
Yeah, I can't.
Obviously, when he played for Spurs, he never done it for us.
Oh no, he didn't do
Obviously,
it.
never. Always legitimately fouled. Yeah.
I think in all of that though, I think mine's going to have to be that goal against Leeds.
Did he mean it?
Because unlike Cardiff, he meant that.
He meant it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think he meant it.
Yeah. There's nowhere else he could put it. He just had to hit it, didn't he?
Yeah. What no one ever factors in is that it's Ilan Melier in goal. So you could just try anything with him and you've got a good chance. It's 50-50.
You say in goal. He was kind of like on his penalty spot at the time.
Well, yeah. He was talking to Bielsa on the touchline.
He'd gone off,
wasn't it?
Or was Jesse Marsh?
He had fully gone off to get a brown beverage. And
brown liquid.
It was a great time actually to be in the Park End, because normally Gladys Street goals in the Park End were, some of them you couldn't see too well, but it worked brilliantly for this goal because I think all of us in the Park End looked at each other and went, Has he just done that? What?
Yeah.
We were all completely flabbergasted. So celebrating
it was a muted celebration at first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a delayed reaction.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those. Has that gone in? Did he? What?
Hold on. What? Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I think shout out as well, talking goals, that one he scored at home to Southampton.
Oh, that's a story.
That's absolutely rockers it.
That's very similar to the Radzinski one in 02.
Yes. 03. Yeah. Opposite corner, but same deal.
Yeah, but almost the same spot, wasn't it?
Yeah. There you go.
There's that moment then in like sort of 2013, that sort of period where he was absolutely imperious.
Yeah.
It's something we've obviously lacked in recent years, but when you're watching a player and you're thinking, this guy is among the best there is at what he's doing in this moment. And we had it with Baines, we had it with Coleman for a brief period, had it with both of them at the same time. And that magic is something that will always be appreciated. When we think back on him, once he, gets another 3 contract extensions and then leaves.
Yeah, in 2063.
Yeah, exactly. We'll think back to that. We'll think back to that pomp.
It's 2270, and Everton have re-signed Seamus Coleman. No one remembers who he is, but the ceremony will continue.
He's just now known as Old Man Coleman.
Seamus Oldman. Sorry.
But some nice Seamus Coleman memories to finish on there.
Also, as well, I don't think we saw the best of him because of Neil Taylor. He was just coming into his prime.
Yes,
and that shit house done that tackle.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think he robbed us of what he could have been.
Definitely did. Yeah, not the first player we've lost to injury, not the last, sadly. But yeah, to bring that full circle as well, it just made me realise how much I missed the Park End as well. So, there we go.
Maybe we got different opinions of that, Les.
Anyone who went to Park End loved it. I'm not having it any other way. Right, that's it for this week's weekly. Let us know what your favourite Seamus Coleman moments as well. It'd be good to hear some more. Thanks to Ed and thanks to John for stepping into the breach late there. That's been it for this week's weekly. We've got a subs weekly, a mailbag, a Spurs preview coming up. I think we've got a deep dive. We've got the culture show that I put out today, as I said, with Roger, Sarah and Gav. And then it's all the way back around to the Denby Castle for post-match. Hopefully that will be a good one to finish the week on. We'll start next week, whatever. Anyway, that's been it for this week's weekly. Up the toffees.